Year 2019, where everything can be done. Students are able to study well, united, and do school activities together. Where teachers are able to teach independently and able to do the task with students. School events are one of the things a school always prepare for and for students to participate. Where everyone is just happy and there is no need to worry.
But
classes will be suspended.
COVID-19 entered, everything has changed. In an instant where there was an announcement from the governor to stop classes for just a week. But the increase in COVID cases has continued to rise, which has led to the fact that students never go back to school again. The COVID-19 has resulted in schools shut all across the world. Globally, over 1.2 billion children are out of the classroom.
authorities have imposed targeted lockdowns in different parts of Manila.
Ilatag na ng Metro Manila Council ang mga inirekomendang ipatupad sa community quarantine para agapan ang pagkalat ng coronavirus disease 2019 o COVID-19.
As a result, education has changed dramatically with a distinctive rise of e-learning, whereby teaching is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms. With a sudden shift away from classroom in many parts of the globe, some are wondering whether the adoption of online learning will continue to persist post-pandemic and how such shift would impact the worldwide education market.
I'm Talia Braga, and I'm going to present the innovation and services in education during the new normal. Year 2019, where everything can be done, where classes are done by face-to-face, and where teachers and students can have their interaction, and where we use books and doing an activities without any worries. But the pandemic hits too hard that the education system has to shut. That causes the schools to plan for a new platform of the learning. Now let's talk about the innovation and services in education during the new normal. First is the synchronous. Synchronous is composed of live interaction between teachers and the students. It also has instant messaging, of course, video conferencing, while the asynchronous is completing homeworks or activity in a certain place or time, online courses, and of course, email. Next is the internet or data. The internet or data, it has a role major, especially right now, during the new normal in education. It helps the student or teachers make connections that lead to insight and improvement. Next is the e-learning trends. A learning system based on formalized teaching but with the help of electronic resources, it is known as e-learning. E-learning can also be called network-enabled transfer of skills and knowledge and deliver a large of recipients at the same and or different times. Next is the changing nature of the study, from face-to-face classes to online classes. Next is the digital textbook. It is the digital book or what we call e-book intended to serve as the text for a class, or it is an example of PDF that you can download. Next is the modules. Ito po yung mga non-print or printed paper that give guide to both teachers and learners, and also use of self-learning modules. lastly, the online apps, which is composed po yan ng Zoom, Google Meet, and the G-Class. Yan po yung mga new platform na ginagamit ngayon sa education system. Every challenge is an opportunity, they say. Thinking about the impact of the coronavirus and the kinds of tools and services that could be focused on ensuring the students don't miss a beat in their learning. Sa pamamagitan po ng panibagong innovation and services during new normal sa education ay makakatulong ito sa mga estudyante na mag-move forward pa rin sa kanilang educational journey no matter what situation is it. While we are upset sa pandemic na po ito, we can and we must overcome it since meron na po tayong mga new platform na plano po ng education system. Then, the education system has a advice to the governments. First is to prioritize education in the first place of emergency responses with immediate effect and to include education in their COVID-19 response policies. Second is to dedicate appropriate resources, financial and technical, to ensure the right to free, quality public education for all is maintained during the COVID-19 crisis. Third is to increase funding and support the education in crisis to a minimum 4.2% of emergency assistance in line with its needs. And lastly, to minimize the pressure on teachers, schools, and school system that remain open or volunteer to offer extra support. Thank you for listening. Now let's proceed to the next reporter.
Hi, I'm Laika Marisa Apilado, the second reporter, and now I discuss to you the next topic, which is the education industry in distribution strategy during pandemic. So, the Department of Education implement a new learning materials, which is the LCP or Learning Continuity Plan for the public schools and private schools in the Philippines. It's a major response to protect the health and safety ng mga learners and teachers, pati na rin ng mga school personnel. So, Learning Continuity Plan has a different learning modality. First is yung distance learning. So, it occurs between teachers and learners who are geographically separated to each other during classes. It means, hindi sila magkakasama sa school. Particularly, nasa kani-kanilang bahay sila na nagkaklase through the use of internet, technology, and online platforms. Since ang distance learning is more on gagamit talaga tayo ng technologies and internet accessibility or yung online class mismo, there's a big obstacle dito. May hindi sumang-ayon kasi paano naman yung mga walang capacity na mag-online class? Dahil wala naman silang sapat na pera or budget, yung iba ay nasa poor families. So, yung distance learning is nagkaroon ng two major parts, which is the modular and online distance learning. So, modular distance learning. So, it involves individualized instruction by using self-learning modules in print or digital format. It has an advantage for the students na walang capacity in online class. Kasi kahit papano, makakapagpatuloy pa rin sila sa pag-aaral. Di ba dati sa face-to-face class, when it comes to discussion, you can understand more the lessons because you can access the information from the instructors. Sa MDL kasi, more on self-study ang mga learners and answering textbooks or modules na lang. So, naka-include dito yung learning resources, which is the textbooks, learning materials, activity sheets that provided by the schools for the learners. So, paano pa binibigay yung mga modules sa students? So, school personnel or assistants shall deliver the printed module to the learners' residence ng under ng MDL modality sa bahay mismo ng mga learners. The requirements naman na kailangan dito is to complete the task na pinapakomply ng mga teachers for each subject within the week. Kaya yung delivery ng module dito is tambakan. So, let's proceed to online distance learning. So, teachers and learners encouraging active participation through the use of various technology access via internet that separated from each other during classes. Opposite naman ito sa modular. Because sa online distance learning, learners and instructors are required to access internet connection and use technology or gadgets like smartphones, laptop, or PCs. Nang face-to-face class pa, students are not allowed to use cellphones or smartphones sa loob ng classroom. Ngayon, dahil nasa distance learning na tayo, allowed na siya na gamitin. Kasi required na ito for online class. So, yung online distance learning has two types, which is the synchronous activities and asynchronous activities. So, synchronous activities tayo. It means in real-time online learning, in which group or class participants are engaged in learning at the same time. Same din sa face-to-face. Sa parehong oras or real time din. Pero ang difference lang nila is sa mismong classroom nagaganap yung face-to-face class. May actual discussion. Samantala, dito sa synchronous is gumagamit na tayo ng online platforms like Google Meet and Zoom for online. Live interaction between the teachers and students. Also, when it comes pag may recitation, students shall be active orally in the class. In ODL, teacher and students shall use the online platforms like Google Classroom, Google Meet, Zoom, and social media like Facebook. Depende sa mga instructors kung ano yung gusto nilang gamitin na platforms for this course or subject. Then, pag-attend ng class meeting, teacher shall send the Google link or Zoom links in a group chat or Google Classroom. So, naka-include dito yung virtual classroom, yung Google Classroom and Google Meet or Zoom mismo. Instant messaging, it allows you to chat in real time to use of chat box sa Google Meet or group chat sa Messenger. Video conferencing and live webinars. So, as you can see in the picture, video conferencing is a live video based on between the two or more people in different location using devices that transmitted to media text and presentation in real time to the internet. Sa live webinar naman, commonly used din sa education kapag may mga events sa school through online. Nagsasagawa sila nito mostly sa mga college level. Maraming gumagawa na webinars dito sa panahon ngayon. Tapos, yung theme or topic nila is related sa courses nila. So, let's proceed to asynchronous. So, opposite naman siya sa synchronous. There's no real-time online learning, no live interaction between teachers and students, and complete courses in a certain place of time. Ito yung gagawa ka na ng activities or assignment through online. Anytime, pwede kang gumawa ng requirements hanggat hindi pa dumadating yung deadlines. So, participants can learn in their own time and schedule. May free time sila. So, asynchronous includes online courses, pre-recorded videos, and email. And online courses is the opportunity also to get to know other students by a syllabus, chat, or email about the upcoming tasks, lessons, and activities na gagawin nila. Even sa date of exam, sineset na nila for the preparations. Watching pre-recorded videos naman, if ever na malos yung internet connection, yung teachers, they are able to upload a pre-recorded videos in Google Classroom or even sa mga Facebook groups, sa online platforms. Ang advantage naman dito is yung students are free to watch this video in a certain time and place. If ever na may clarification about sa topic and may hindi naintindihan, pwede nilang i-rewatch ulit yun. So, let's move to another learning modalities, which is yung blended learning. A learning delivery with any combination of online, modular distance learning, and TV radio-based instruction. Actually, pati na rin ang face-to-face classes. But limited lang kasi kailangan nating i-ensure yung social distancing. Some schools, especially the university and colleges like sa UP, De La Salle, and sa Ateneo de Manila, and so on, must be allowed in face-to-face class. But hindi lahat. Sa mga ibang course lang ng need ng face-to-face interaction dahil sa course requirements. Like sa medical technology or sa nursing kasi hindi na mag-laboratory. Sa chemistry, engineering, and so on. In blended learning, meron din silang another modality maliban sa modular and online distance learning, which is ang TV radio-based instruction. Asset learning modules transformed to television-based and converted to radio script for radio-based instruction. Actually, di siya familiarized for now, but sinasagawa din tong modalities, especially sa ibang public schools and elementary schools, sa ALS, and advantage din para sa mga students na may disabilities. May sariling channel din ang Department of Education, which is yung DepEd TV. Self-learning module and discussion was accessed in TV channel. So, much better pa rin sa TV kasi nabi-visualize mo or nakikita mo pa yung mga modules or lessons. While sa radio kasi naririnig mo lang, di ba? But, bihira lang nagaganap yung ganitong modality sa iba't ibang schools lang. Pero implemented siya, kasama siya. Then yung broadcasters or host dito is yung mga teacher mismo. So now, assessment procedures. Percent in each component, written work, performance task, and exam, requires the percentage in grading system. So, naka-include yung tatlong component na to. So, the passing grade in elementary and high school is 75% pa rin. Same lang sa face-to-face class. As in, mas makompleto mo yung activities mo, yung and performance task. Sa college naman, same pa rin naman yung percentage, yung passing grade. 70% to equivalent to 3. Ang pinakamataas na rate dito is yung examination pa rin. Hindi na sinasama yung sa attendance ngayon. As soon as makumpleto mo yung mga course requirements na hinihingi ng mga professors, especially sa exam. And written test naman, students will able to submit in the Google Classroom or e-learning materials or online platform. Sometimes nga sa email address pa, via documents or files like Microsoft Word and Google Docs. Sa examination naman, shall be announced in advance. Sa mismong syllabus pa lang ina-announce na siya. So, learner shall take the exam in e-learning materials and sa Google form, more on essay and multiple choice dun minsan. Then, yung some students shall take it sa loob na, minsan sa loob ng isang araw or dalawa, is like asynchronous din sa ibang schools. In a certain place and time din. Para in case na kunyari, aksidente na malos yung internet connection nila, may free pa rin sila na mag-take nun anytime. Depende din sa professor nyo. So, teacher's role. Isa big part din sa mga teachers ang teaching and learning process through the use of chosen modality. Kagaya din ng sa face-to-face class. So, the teachers must be available at all times. Kahit na nasa bahay sila, is may ginagawa pa rin sila. Kailangan din nila maging available all night at all times in case na may mga concern yung mga students and parents. So, makakatanggap sila ng text message. Ganun. Learner's role naman. So, learners need to adapt this kind of learning materials. Kailangan na nilang masanay sa ganitong sistema ng education dahil nga nasa pandemic tayo. Parents' role also. So, is addressed right away during the implementation of new learning mode through a consultation session. Hindi rin kasi nagiging maganda ang kinalalabasan ng learning materials sa mga ibang students. Minsan may times na nagka-comes up sila sa anxiety, sa depression, kasi hindi nila kinakaya yung bagong learning sistema ng edukasyon. So, need ng mga students yung guide and consultation from their parents para supportahan sila. Communication plan. Yan. It is important na meron tayong communication sa isa't isa. So, there are 3 forms of communication in e-learning communities. First is yung content-related communication. Very essential to, like sa face-to-face class. Students shall be asked questions or sharing information and ideas to their instructor or sa classmates. So, task planning naman. So, students shall be produce an assignment and activities. So, need nila mag-collab to each other, especially pag may mga groupings. And last, yung social support is the way create a good atmosphere. So, maganda yung may good atmosphere ang isa't isa para may good friendship and relationship ang bawat isa. So, continuance, school promises that instructor will get going training and development on the use of technology. Kailangan din sanayin ng mga teachers na ma-adapt yung mga innovation na product and services at kung paano yung paggamit ng mga to, especially sa technology and apps. Dapat maging aware din sila sa mga current trends and situation na nagaganap in educational practices. Continuously improve the quality of its services in terms of training and services, like sa pagde-deliver ng learning modalities, sa pag-a-adapt ng mga online platforms, and sa yun nga sa modality. And lastly, yung monitoring and evaluation. So, feedbacks from students and parents. It is necessary to identify more gaps and suggest nila para mas ma-improve pa yung learning modality in yung strategy nila. Sa ngayon, ina-allow na yung mga students na pumili ng gusto nilang maging learning modality. It's either online ba or modular pa. So, monitoring students' progress and achievement. So, yung evaluation is focused sa result na performance ng students para ma-measure yung learning outcomes. Kung mas natututo ba sila sa face-to-face class kaysa sa distance learning, o mas nagkakaroon sila ng achievement pag distance learning kaysa online kasi mas nakakapag-focus sila sa bahay lang. So for now, the educational institutions are still facing the current challenges and hope that this distribution strategy in education during new normal was adopted by all students and teachers and parents, especially sa mga schools, university, and colleges. Yun lang po. Thank you for listening.
Hello, I'm Algie Angelo Garcia, and now I will present the pricing strategies of education. The COVID-19 pandemic is the most recent threat to the educational landscape here in the Philippines, like in other countries. Filipino teachers and students have found themselves shifting to online learning, where classes can be held in the safety of one's own home. You might think that tuition fees in the Philippines have decreased because they are not physically attending school, and instead of attending in school, they are taking distance learning or online learning classes at home during pandemic. To facilitate online classes, facilities such as internet connection and equipment must be upgraded, as well as additional expenses such as training teachers and providing them with laptops and internet allowance. President Duterte implemented the law of Republic Act 10931 that all public schools such as State University and other universities are free in different courses. Kaya yung ibang mga estudyante na galing private school, nag-shift sa public school. Kasi nga libre. Saka pandemic din naman. Kaya, in general, kahit yung mga elementary, nag-shift na din sa public school. And now, this is the list includes of public school. Philippine Normal University, University of the Philippines, Don Mariano State University, Cavite State University, Agusan del Sur State College of Agriculture and Technology. Since more than 250,000 students from private school transferred to public school during the pandemic, tuition fees in private school system are likely to rise to complete for their losses. But this is the advantages of private school. Private school are better facilities than the public school. Before pandemic, private school provided their classroom have fully air conditioned and have a maintenance personnel such as janitors and cleaners to make their classroom more better than public school. Many private schools also have a computer equipment set aside from each student to facilitate digital learning. But now, pandemic, their facilities are more better pa din. Kasi nga, mas high-tech sila. Kasi minsan sa public school kasi, mga delay yung mga grades pag ina-upload. Sa private school naman, mas advanced. Wala masyadong lag pag nag-a-access ka sa mga website nila. Yun yung pinagkaiba. Especially sa mga medicine student naman, meron silang mga provided na technology para mas madali nilang maintindihan yung mga tinuturo. And this is the 2021 tuition fees in the Philippines. In grade school, it costs 25,000 to 100,000, but it depends on school. In high school and senior high school, it range 40,000 to 150,000. In college level naman, it costs 70,000 to 250,000. And this is the cost of college education in the Philippines during 2019. In Ateneo de Manila University, it costs 180,000 to 200,000. In De La Salle University, it costs 200,000 to 230,000. In UST, it costs 120,000 to 150,000. In Mapua University, it costs 160,000 to 200,000. In San Beda University, it costs 150,000 to 160,000. And this is the annual cost of tuition fee. And next, this is the 2020 to 2021 school year tuition fees on top universities in the Philippines. This is the UST, Adamson University, De La Salle University, Manila. And this is the annually cost of tuition. In Ateneo de Manila, it costs 170,000 to 190,000. In De La Salle University, it costs 200,000 to 230,000. In UP, it's free because it is the public school. In UST naman, it costs 100,000 to 150,000. In Mapua University, it costs 180,000 to 300,000. And in San Beda University, it costs 145,000 to 210,000. But this is the list of enrolled students school year 2019 to 2020 and the list of enrolled students from school year 2020 to 2021. As you can see, during school year 2019 to 2020 in Ilocos region, the students enrolled have 1,291,071. But in 2021, it's 970,372. At nagbawas siya ng 24.8%. Saka ganun din sa ibang lugar. Medyo malaki talaga yung binawas. Gaya sa Cagayan, bumaba siya ng 15%. Sa Central Luzon naman, bumaba siya ng 22.8%. Kaya yung ibang lugar, bumaba yung mga list ng enrollees kasi nga yung mga magulang hindi kaya i-provide yung mga equipment sa online. Kaya mas pinili na lang nila na itigil muna yung anak nila sa ngayong school year. Saka medyo mahirap din kasi yung distance learning. Dahil minsan yung iba, hindi naman ganun kaganda yung internet access. Saka yung iba naman, nasa private school. Dahil pandemic, medyo di kinayanan yung tuition fees. Okay, that is it. Let's move for the next reporter.
Hello everyone, I'm Ira Biercal, and let me share with you today's topic. It's all about the challenges of educational institutions and how to overcome them. I believe we are all familiar with the word COVID-19. COVID-19 is an infectious disease that causes illnesses ranging from common cold to severe diseases. Recognizing the impact of pandemic affects the business sector, and education is no exception. Global education has been disrupted over the last months as a result of COVID-19. The way student learns has changed in a short time. They have not been able to access any education at all. In response to significant demand, the institution considers sustainable methods to increase sales by improving promotional strategies. And here are some promotional strategies during a crisis. The first one is creating quality educational videos. Engaging in video content and publishing it online can reach your target audience. They can simply transform existing products or even services into entertaining videos and publishing them on leading video sharing platforms such as YouTube. Video content can have many different forms, including demo videos, brand or event videos, tutorials, and others. The next one is the promote safety. When developing an education marketing strategy for this era, it presents both new challenges and opportunities. Leaning into promoting the safety and convenience of learning from home is going to be a winning strategy for educational marketing. Let your audience know the benefits of using your services as part of their educational plan and how it contributes to the safety of students or families. The more you focus on developing great distance learning tools for students, the greater the opportunity to make the best of this situation. And for the last one is create educational apps. With the explosion of people now seeking ways to learn or even access educational materials online, having an app is another fantastic way to both attract and keep users. Apps offer both convenience and safety for the students and user of all types of services. For the next slide here are the social media platforms where you can properly promote. Twitter is one of the great platforms to grow your department. By sharing visible information about your institution could attract a new potential audience. And it's important to be consistent in publishing content. And Facebook, with the help of this easy access platform, you could easily reach a larger audience. It also offers marketing tools such as Facebook page, where you can build your brand presence. And for Instagram, using this platform can easily turn your Instagram into ads. Developing a campaign on Instagram feed is a great way to build awareness about your department. And that's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned from this.